It's time for another episode where I answer your questions. And today I'm going to answer 2 questions, each from women who listen to the podcast. No matter how long you've been married or with your partner, how fabulous your sex life is, or how disappointing it is, whatever your situation, you may not resonate with the question, but I fully expect that you will find the answer valuable. So the first one is from a listener. I have recently begun to follow your podcast and have been enjoying it. Thank you. I am married almost 2 years and had been a virgin before marriage. I was 47 when I got married and was not made aware of possible sexual trauma until after I was married. I still have a hard time embracing my sexuality and being and feeling completely free when intimate with my husband. I also have not had an orgasm. Do you have any input for me as I continue to grow in being free and comfortable in my sexuality? First of all, thank you so much for that question. It's a vulnerable question and really has universal applicability because there is so much to learn and ways to expand in order to feel free and comfortable in your sexuality. Honestly, whether you're having orgasms or not. The first thing is that feeling free and comfortable in sexuality in many ways does not start when your clothes are off and you and your husband are in bed together. Feeling free and comfortable with who you are is actually something to cultivate any moment that you are awake. And I want to start by asking, when you are driving to work, do you feel free and comfortable with who you are? Whatever your profession is, when you are dancing, do you feel free and comfortable with who you are? But I do encourage you to notice, when is it that you feel free and comfortable? I don't think everyone's answer is the same, but what I want to encourage you to do is to look for the moments when you feel free and comfortable. Because if you feel free and comfortable, then you definitely are feeling free and comfortable with who you are. And I am a big fan of finding the moments in life that create the kind of feeling that's going to serve you and tapping into that in the context of exploring sexuality. So that's step one, to really look for the moments when you feel free and comfortable. Maybe it's just lying in the grass with the sun touching you. It's often in nature where you get the benefit of the harmony and the wholeness and the sense of freedom that the environment and the energy of nature offers, but it is certainly possible behind closed doors as well. So once you find that, the ways in which you feel free and comfortable, the context, definitely expand from there. Aim to have more and more of your day having you feel comfortable. Wear clothes that have you feel comfortable. Choose activities that have you feel free and comfortable. You get the idea. And if this is something you really want to pursue, I recommend you look into the research and the writings about flow state, because that is all about being free and comfortable with who you are. So once you've amplified the sense of freedom and comfortability in your day, then the next thing to do is really put attention on feeling free and comfortable in your body. How do you feel when you look in the mirror? How much do you just put on music and dance? And once you've been having these kinds of experiences in your day and between you and your body, which may include self-pleasure and masturbation, or maybe it doesn't, but the point is that you enjoy and feel free, incarnated in the body you inhabit, then it's actually a relatively small pivot to feel free and comfortable with your sexuality. It sounds like to the person who asked this question, you think of feeling free and comfortable with your sexuality as its own endeavor. And while it certainly can be wonderful, it really is something that comes with the foundation of feeling free and comfortable with who you are and how you move through life. And then when it comes specifically to leaning in and feeling more comfortable with who you are, one of the most important ways to do that is to cultivate presence. One of the best ways to really enjoy the experiences in the bedroom is to slow down and breathe. Focus on being as fully present in the moment as you can. Mindfulness and sensual presence builds your capacity to feel more, express more, and tap into feeling free. And in this context, I want to add about orgasm. In a woman, orgasm can be very, very subtle. I've spoken with women where they haven't known to label what they're experiencing as an orgasm because it doesn't have an explosive feeling that is equivalent to a man ejaculating. Sometimes in a woman, orgasm can be delicious and slow, and it just is little tremors and contractions in the perineal muscles and in the vagina. And it isn't necessarily like shooting stars. It can be very subtle. And those orgasms are very delicious and worth enjoying as well. That's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing is I encourage someone who isn't experiencing orgasms and wants to experiment with something called edging, which is building sensation. Imagine stroking your own clitoris or your partner's clitoris, that you stroke gently and slowly and you build up the sensation, and there's more and more. Get close and then back off, slower, gently, and then build again and again and again. And so rather than having kind of an upward peak towards the orgasm, it's up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down. This is something that is also very relevant for a man who wants to hold his erection longer and postpone ejaculation. One of the most effective ways to do that is when you come close to orgasm, then you just hold still or slow way down. And then you can build again and again and go faster and harder. And when you're close to orgasm, then you just hold still and move slowly and build. So I'm saying that in case anyone listening would like to experiment with that from the male perspective. But if you're a woman looking to experience orgasm and you haven't, again, I wouldn't just go for some big event. Instead, I would gradually build and then slow down and then build and slow down and come close and slow down. And at some point, if you keep doing that, you're going to spill over and be very clear that you have just enjoyed an orgasm. And with that, I'm going to move on to question number 2. Thank you for all you do, Dr. Stockwell. I'd been celibate for 13 years before I met a wonderful man 2 months ago. My fantasy life in those years was deliciously orgasmic, but not so much with my lover. He's open and caring, and though I do orgasm, it was better before. Please help us. I really like him, and except for the orgasm, I enjoy sex with him a lot. So I do want to start by saying, if you've been with your partner for a long time and you're not enjoying orgasm, by all means, learn from this woman's question and explore things on your own and discover how you can create experiences that you really enjoy, and then begin to bring your husband into that, or to move into having those experiences together, which is what this woman is asking. So the first thing is, and it depends on what it has been that was so gratifying on your own, but is there anything about that that you can share with your partner, that you can include him in, so that maybe you guide the two of you to get there together? Maybe you actually do what you do on your own, but you can set it up so it's a very sacred, incredibly vulnerable experience where you do what you did before, and he gets to witness it and learn from how you touch yourself, from the positions that you put yourself in, the things that really have worked for you with creating beautiful orgasms yourself. Let him learn. Let him learn through experiencing, witnessing, and loving you through it. That, of course, would be the most vulnerable and most effective if you're open to doing that. And otherwise, I encourage you to implement some of what I have already said in response to the first question I answered, playing with edging, for example. And then the third thing that I will say is that fantasy is incredibly effective in arousal and really gratifying sex for those who partake, and it is delicious. And the thing about fantasy is that it can take you out of the present moment. You bring your attention to what is in your mind. And I'm not knocking it. It just doesn't work as well when you want to make love with a partner, which inherently and fundamentally benefits from being profoundly present in your body, in the moment, in the sense experiences, in the emotions, in the physicality of it, and having your partner meet you there in a way that is erotic communion. And if your mind is elsewhere on the fantasy, it is a form of being disconnected. So I'm not knocking erotic fantasy. It is very delicious and amazing. But specifically in the context of this question, a woman saying that with fantasy, she has these amazing orgasms, but with her partner, she doesn't. The key is learning how to really be present in the moment with the sensation, because the orgasms that become possible when the two of you have this kind of passionate presence with one another, it is extraordinary, and it is nurturing for the relationship, and it truly is rocket fuel for life. I will say that it's kind of like when someone starts to meditate, it takes a while before you can just sit down and embody the meditative consciousness. Well, similarly, when you are learning to really be present in your erotic experiences, present in the moment and in your body and with your partner, that is something that takes intentional practice. And so for the woman who's asked the question, it may take some time, but being patient and cultivating your capacity to be present and hold sensations and be with your partner and guiding him to what really works for you in a way that will benefit both of you, that just is going to take some time, and it is well worth the investment, because the ROI, of course, is going to be extraordinary, and once achieved, it's not so complicated to maintain. So these are the two questions that I have. If you have questions yourself, feel free to find me on social media and send me a DM, or go to alexandrastockwell.com/contact, send me an email. Or if you're on my email list, which if you're not, you should be, because I share other content, send me your question and I will be very glad to answer your questions the next time I do a Q&A episode. And in the meantime, have a lot of fun experimenting, exploring, and implementing the things that I've shared.